It's dawn and it's actually pre-dawn, so it's still dark. And in my little studio here, which I don't have electricity, I've got candles going, so that's possibly why the lighting is not good for this video. But I think it's beautiful for me, and I have the fire lit because it's July and it's cold, and I'm really lucky to have a little fire. And I must admit that when I come down here in the early morning, I really give thanks to all of these small things that I have because I, I appreciate it, and I love that moment in the early morning. And I think I just wanted to talk about cleavers in the early morning, and it's interesting because of course it doesn't get too cold here on Waiheke. So in fact there is some cleavers growing in the garden. And cleavers is a little plant and known as a weed, and it's funny to call it a weed because I love it so much, and yet I'm starting to understand how we can change a word and actually love the word weed, because the weed is so common, it grows everywhere, and cleavers is very common here. And I want to talk about cleavers because also this morning I'm going off to the market, the local market here, and I help Mike put up his bookstall, and he's there all day, all morning, and then we come back, I help him pack up. And I've done a lot of markets and I've done a lot of retail in my life and interfaced with a lot of people, and cleavers is a beautiful essence when we need to clear ourselves a little bit from perhaps intense encounters with people. And retail and those places, markets, are really wonderful places because we talk to strangers and we communicate with something that we have in common, and we're selling things and we're connecting. But sometimes every now and then there might be a person that tells you a story, and that story has judgment, or that story has negativity, or it suddenly touches you, or you carry it. And this is where cleavers is a beautiful essence, because you can take that essence of cleavers and just detach yourself a little bit from the intensity of all those negative thoughts that that person was sharing with you, and allow yourself to sort of see things in a different light. And I think it's the nature of cleavers, because when you look at cleavers, the way it grows is it curves and moves between many, many plants, but always finds space and actually gets those plants to support it to actually reach the light. And I really love cleavers actually because there's also this beautiful little whirl at the end of it, which constantly growing, constantly moving towards the light, and then it's very lightly rooted. And it's got purpose for that, because what that does is that when a sheep wanders through or a human wanders through, it actually clings to them, and then it can move on. And this clinging, this Velcro clinging, is a really powerful part of its gesture. So what's curious is it grows amongst many, many different plants and finds space within those plants. But when it's ready to move, it actually adheres and clings to something, to somebody, and lifts off its whole roots sometimes. Of course, it has these little seeds called biddybids which do the same. And when you think about how we are in relationship with others sometimes, and sometimes we find that we're filled up by them, that we can't find our own space. That's when you take cleavers, the essence, because then you go, oh, actually I can find my own space now, thank you. And oh, I see that all of those thoughts that I'm sort of constantly thinking about is actually, I don't need to think about those thoughts. Those aren't my thoughts, and I can slowly with cleavers just sort of clear myself, clear those things, and be able to focus on what I really want to be doing. And so in our world, in our community, I think it's in our sensitivity, it's a very beautiful essence for us to take.